Happy fall, y'all. It's all about pumpkin spice and everything nice. And in today's video, we are going to talk with pictures about practical and, of course, impractical van builds, which I see so much when I look at Pinterest. There's so many impractical things out there that people build. So stay tuned because we're going to talk about all those things today. As you can see, I cut my hair. So the reason I cut my hair, you'll see that I talked about in my Bible study. I mentioned that I was going to mention it on another video. So in this video, I'm just going to quickly say that I got one of those species that are going out there like a few months ago, and I talked about it in my other channel. So I'll link the video. What happened was I had some hair loss as a result of it, not really from the roots, but mostly hair breakage as a result of that. And I think it was because probably my body had to fight this so strong, like nothing I've ever had in my life before. So I think that's what happened. And so I just had a lot of breakage. My hair was thinning out in the bottom as a result. And what I did was I just decided to just cut it. It's the same length in the front. I just cut it in the back because that's mostly where I was having the problem, was in the back. So that's where I cut it, and now it's nice and even, and it's gonna grow nice and long and healthy. So anyway, I hope you like it. It's a little change, something different for the fall, something, because new things are happening. Anyway, so in this video, we're gonna talk about van builds because I've been on Pinterest and I've been looking at some van builds, kind of trying to get an idea for, if I was doing a van build, well, what do I like? So I'm kind of in the process right now where I'm focused on new beginnings, kind of like, okay, where am I going next? What's my next round here? So stay tuned because in this video, if you're looking to build a van, buy a van, if you're thinking of downsizing from an RV into a van, I've got all of the stuff that you need to know with pictures because we're going to share today the practical and impractical van builds that I think are on the internet. Stay tuned for that. You all know that I drive a truck camper and I have downsized a lot over the years because I realized that I'm not living full-time, so I don't really need to carry all of this stuff with me, and it just makes it harder to get into certain areas with such a large rig. And I really like to be as budget friendly as I can with my travels. So I already have a house and I'm not planning on getting rid of a house because this is why I'm here, because another part of who I am is I like homesteading. I like living simple. I like to be self-sustainable in a lot of ways. So those videos are coming up, trust me, but it's been really hot and it's been raining and I can't really do a lot of filming outdoors. And I have a lot of videos on homesteading that a lot of people don't talk about, mostly because I'm a single woman doing this alone, and most channels out there is usually a wife and a husband team. For right now, I have a truck camper and I love my truck camper, but I am thinking into the future. As I get older, yes, it gets a little bit difficult for me to get up to the loft, a little uncomfortable. Also because Muffin is sick now, I'm not sure where she's gonna sleep. She doesn't really like sleeping in the bed. I'll talk about that in another video, but so I'm not sure how this thing with Muffin is gonna affect me in the future, but I do know this, that in the future, my plans are that when she's not here with me anymore, I will probably end up getting another dog, but I will get a larger dog, more of a kind of something in the form of maybe a Labrador or something like that, where I can go hiking with this dog and I could feel that I have protection with me when I'm out alone. So that is something that I'm thinking about, and I know that something like that is going to affect the size of my camper. So I've been thinking about vans and being more stealthy. We're talking about way in the future because hopefully she's gonna still be with me. She's over here laying next to me. She's gonna be with me for the next 2 years. So I'm talking about way out in the future, not right now, but hopefully when this country kind of stabilizes a little bit, because right now I think there's a lot of destabilization in some of the states, and I really don't want to be in some of those states. So I'm hoping that in the future, that's the plan. For me, a van build would be really super difficult right now having a cat, because if you look at these van builds, they all have that sliding door. And how do you get your cat not to get out from there? My truck camper has a solid screen door, and I also put a screen protection on it so she can't break the screen and get out. And I also lock it when I'm indoors. So, cause she's like a magical cat, Houdini cat, she can open doors and things like that. So how would I do this in a van? That's something that I haven't been able to figure out, and I haven't seen anything on Pinterest about trying to keep a cat inside of a van. So that would be really, really hard for me. Of course, the magic of having a van is when you're outdoors, you have your door open, right? So you get the fresh air, but the difficulty is that screen there. And I know I've traveled with a lot of women that have this issue, that they go out, they see these beautiful pictures and stuff, and people are outdoors camping. Guess what? Reality is there's going to be bugs, there's going to be mosquitoes, there's going to be flies everywhere you go. You're going to need some netting. You're going to need netting no matter what. So I'm just telling you right now, everything that you see, beautiful and wonderful, and that everybody shows you, is not always the way that it is. Those are the two reasons why. Number one, because of my dog, I would need her to be comfortable and homey. So giving her a change now in her life would not be good. Number two, having a van with a cat, and of course also with a dog right now, would just not be good. Having a litter box in a van is something else that I have to worry about, because it's a smaller space, and you know, cat litter boxes take a lot of space. Those are the main reasons why I wouldn't get a van, because of my pet. But I would look into a B+, something a little bigger. We'll talk about that later on. So in this practical and impractical video, I'm gonna be talking about things that are necessary in a van build, and I'm going to be showing you some pictures. These are the ones that I chose because these are the categories that I want to talk to you about today. When I talk to you about this, it's not because I have a van, but it's because I've traveled with several women. Most of the women I've traveled with, I think it was only one in a Class A. Most of the women I've traveled with all have vans. Some have bought their vans already prepared, and some have created their own vans. And I could tell you right now that this is something that you really have to put effort into, because you are not going to be happy at the end. I've had women who have done their builds and they're restless. They're restless women when they're not cozy in their camper. They see me and I'm cozy in my camper. I don't need to be outside. I mind my business. I do my work. I come outside during the time that is social time, but it's like they're restless. They're constantly like in and out, in and out, in and out. And then they have the problem with the bugs. Their screening isn't good, so they can't be inside their campers, or they don't have an air conditioning, or they don't have a solar system where they can run fans. So they're uncomfortable, and then they are restless as a result. So of course, I want you to watch this video and realize that when you go out on the road, you want to be comfortable, you want to be home, you want to feel like it's your home, and you want to be able to create a space where if there's rain and there are bugs, bad weather, storms, or something that's not too safe outside, you can go inside and you can feel comfortable, you can feel safe, and you can be content and not feel like you haven't reached your nomadic peace as a nomadic person, whether it's full-time or part-time. You feel like this is the rig for me, this is my timing, this is what I need, it suits me right now. In the future, I might need something else, but right now this suits me, and I'm happy that I purchased it, and I'm happy with what I have. And that's the point, is for you to be happy and content with what you have, because that's what God gave you and the desires. So let's make sure that we explore the build, which is the desires of your heart, to actually go ahead and have the right type of build. In this video, there's going to be some pics that I'm going to share with you for me personally if I was doing a build, and then of course everything is specific to what you, for yourself, what is most convenient for you as far as price, because you know, I don't know the kind of money that you have, I don't know, you know, how much of a build you can do. That's all going to cost money. So let's get into it. First thing that we have to look at with the build is of course going to be the size of what we want. The bigger, the more money we're going to spend. So that's going to be important for us, but don't ever compromise because you want it now and you are willing to get something smaller now, but you could have waited a little bit more to get something more comfortable. So if I were you, I would definitely wait until I had exactly what I know is going to suit me. For instance, if you're going to go with something higher, it's going to be way more comfortable because you'll be able to walk around in there. You don't have to crouch. It gets really old after a while crouching all the time in your van, especially if you're in there multiple days because of the weather. And this is going to happen. Trust me, it's going to happen where you're going to be multiple days inside because it's raining, or it's stormy and you just have to be inside. Or the bugs are really bad. You know, you don't want to have to be out at 7 o'clock at night because your leg is cramped and you're tired of sitting in there. Definitely choose the size. If you're a shorter person, then you can go with a shorter van because you can still stand in the van, possibly. Also, the length of the van is going to give you more space for more storage, to bring more things, have more conveniences in there. So height and length is important, and of course that's going to vary with the kind of budget that you have, because it's going to cost way more to have both. For me, both would definitely be ideal. So as far as size is concerned, you have to know how many people are going to travel. You have to know how many pets and the size of your pets, of course, because that's going to take up space. Also have to know if you are going to be traveling with other people in this van, right? So if you're a grandmother, maybe you have grandkids, 2 grandkids, and they're going to be visiting with you. That's another consideration that you want to take, is where do I put my guests when I travel with them? So those are things that you're going to have to think about when you are planning your build. I'm going to show you some ideas here in this video so that you can also have guests in your van, even though you just have one bed, but you can have guests in there as well. In this video, you can see that the 2 front chairs, the passenger and the driver's chairs, swivel so that you can add some type of a portable cot that is foldable. Here are some portable bunk bed options that you can install in a van. And then here is one where it's in the back over the bed. And then here's one where they installed it in the front over the driving section. And of course, there's always the possibility of installing a hammock when someone comes over, so you can take it down. Another consideration is, as far as the length that you are going to need more storage, is how much time are you going to travel for? Are you going to be full-time in this, or is your duration maybe 2 weeks out of the year where you just want to really simplify and bring just the essentials? Then you don't need maybe something so long. You just want the height because you don't need so much storage. So that's another thing to consider. You can see in these videos how they maximized the height of the bed in order to have cargo space in the rear. Another thing to consider is, don't limit yourself because you're going to say, oh, I'm going to put some cargo storage on the outside. To be honest with you, if you can keep your storage inside, it's going to be better, because having this additional cargo is going to put more stress on your life, because you have to be considering people are going to steal stuff. It's going to bring people around, and you don't want that confrontation with people. You know, at night you're sleeping and somebody comes and tries to steal it or whatever. So always consider that it's better to have your storage inside and be a little bit more stealth on the outside. Is what I would think is the safest for all of us, especially if you're a woman and you're alone. You also want to think about if you're going to be having this van to just go sightseeing and seeing things, or are you also going to go camping? Because some people, they just want to travel and then they just want to pull up at the Walmart and go to bed. They like the pavement, they don't like the bugs, they don't like the grass. They don't want to be in those areas, but they do want to go sightseeing. So you have to realize that. And if you are going to go camping in a van, you also have to make adjustments for the bugs. What are you going to do when you have your door open to cook inside, when you need that fresh air? How are you going to keep those bugs out from getting inside of your rig? So that is something else that you have to think about and consider, the placement of the door and what you're going to do about things like that. That's going to be important coming up when we talk about windows. That is another consideration. A lot of these cargo vans, or a lot of these vans that are already made, some of them don't have a lot of windows. For me personally, I am a window girl. I have skylights in my house all over the place, and I have lots of windows all over. I like brightness, I like light, and when I go traveling, I want to be able to see all of the things. So in my camper, I have windows up by my bed, which I love, because if I hear noise at night, I can look on my left or my right side and I have windows to see. I also have windows all around my rig, so I can see outside, and that to me is important. For you, it might be that you want to be in places that are more stealth and you don't want the windows. For me, I have curtains that give me privacy, so it's important for me to have my privacy in the RV that I have. So you also have to think about what kind of privacy you're going to have in there. If you have these windows, how are you going to cover it up so that people are not looking in? Because that could also be a security risk for you if you are not covering yourself up at night when the light goes on and people can see inside, or see that you're alone or that you're asleep or whatever like that. So you definitely want to have privacy if you have lots of windows. I've seen people build and then they have to go back and dismantle the cabinets because they thought that they didn't need a window there, and then they realized they needed a window there. So now they have to remove cabinets because they have to build a window there. So now they're losing space and storage. So that's why it's important for you to really know if you are a light person or a dark person. There's a lot of people that live in their homes, they have the windows closed with blinds and shades, and they like the dark. And if that's the kind of person you are, that's the kind of way you want to live, then that's fine. Then you don't need the windows, but you will need a way to be able to look outside if something happens. So consider, if you're that kind of person that doesn't have windows, you might want to consider having like a camera set up so that you can have cameras on your van so you can see all around when you're inside. If you're buying this van, these cargo vans that don't have windows, this is something you're going to talk to the dealer about. It's going to cost more if the dealer does it, or if you take it somewhere and have them actually pop and put windows in for you. And there's a lot of great windows that you can get out there. There's the kind that are seamless, which are beautiful. So those are things you want to consider as well, where you want the placement of the window. So when you're looking at Pinterest to get van build idea, look also at window placements, where the cabinets are in the kitchen and all of those things, and consider those things also. If you were in there cooking, and you heard a noise, where are you going to look to see on your left and your right, or the back or the front? You don't want to come outside to look because you don't know what's outside. So for me, that's why it's important to have windows or something where I can see all around. But one of the things that I recommend would be that if you were going shopping for a van, for a cargo van, I would go inside and kind of feel it out. Or if you already bought it and you're still considering where to put the windows, I would definitely take this van and go out camping and just do like portable stuff in there so you can move things around. And I showed you Sheri's van, how she had everything kind of portable in there. She ended up moving her stuff around. Nothing was fixed. She had portable things in there. She was able to figure out the placement later on of what she wanted. So that's what you're going to want to do, because you're going to want to figure out, oh, I want to cook here, I want to sleep over here, and I like this space over here, and I do want a window when I'm cooking so I can look out. I want a window here so if something happens at night, I'm going to be able to have a window so I can see behind me as well. So those are things you have to take into consideration. The thing that we're going to consider, of course, is going to be shower and toilet. That's going to be important in the build, because you're going to want to know if you're going to need a shower or a toilet. Personally, for me, if I was doing a van build, I would not add a shower space. One of the reasons is because I have a gym membership. A gym membership is great. Most of the girls that I travel with, that's what they use. We love it. We love it because it gives us a break to get clean with hot water, plenty of it. Though some of those places are really elegant and it just feels so good after days of camping. You just feel so pampered. Some of them have blow dryers, and there's exercise machines there. So if you have a couple of days of rain, you can head over there, ask if you can park overnight, you can exercise. They're open 24 hours. So gym memberships are great, especially if you're the restless type of van dweller, because you just don't want to be sitting inside your van all day during maybe rough weather or whatever. So having a gym membership, I think, is personally a great idea. And you also can do more than just exercise and shower. You also have internet, so you can do several things, like you can update a lot of your apps on your phone or on your tablets. You can sit in there and work. Some of them have like little areas where you can sit and work in there, like Planet Fitness does. And you can sit there and do internet and do a whole bunch of things. So for me personally, I think it's great. If you have the black card, you have massage tables and other perks that are included in having a black card. So definitely look into something like that, because I think it's a great idea, and that's going to remove that need for you to have a shower. I think this is a waste of space unless you made this little space here where the shower is into some kind of a wet bath where you also had a toilet there, and maybe you can use this as a closet as well with hanging wardrobe. Then I think it would be worth the space taken. This obviously, shower in the middle of a van is not going to be very wise.
This I thought was a great idea if it had a lid on top where you can use kind of like a cushion and make it into a seat as well during the day. So I really like this idea about sitting and just having a handheld shower like that. And this, of course, is the usual way that van dwellers shower when they are at the beach or camp somewhere. They are lucky enough to have a shower in the back where they can just shower outside. If you're camped, you can use some type of a tarp to cover you up. Lucky you if you have these kind of doors where they slide out and you can build your own shower outside your van in a pinch. This is an awesome way to organize. And don't forget that all of this is going to take lots and lots of water. So remember, you have to be lifting these up, and where you put the water is important if you're going to be using this system.
For me personally, I would have a toilet. And doing some research for this video, I found out about this cute little foldable toilet that I'm gonna link below to my Amazon store, and you can find it there. I think this is perfect for van dwellers because you don't always need a toilet. Most of the time, if you're parked near a store, gas station, or any place like that, you can use the bathrooms in public places. I do that most of the time now. And then, because I don't use my black tank. So some of you also don't want to use the bucket, so you want to have a composting toilet. These toilets are huge. They take up a lot of space. Do I think that you need a composting toilet? I don't know. I don't know what your travels are, how long you're going to be out there. But honestly, it's a lot of work. You have to have particular things to mix in there. And it just, to me, it's a lot of work. And I prefer not to go that route. And so just consider that is going to take some space, and it is going to take considerate amount of work to make sure that it works fine. I have been in campers where people have these toilets, and I could tell you that I have walked in there, and the minute I walk in there, I smell urine in there. I don't tell them anything, but because they're used to it. But if you are not taking that little urine thing out or putting some liquid in there, it's going to smell bad and it's going to reek. So composting toilets, even though you might not smell number 2 in there, definitely you're going to need a lot of maintenance with number 1, because number 1 smells, especially if you are the type that are on medication. And there's 2 people that are peeing inside that little jug. It's going to get full fast and it's going to smell. So keep that in mind if you are thinking about compost toilet. You might just want to forget about that, or wait around and see how you feel about that in the future and just start off with a bucket. I think the bucket works really great. I'm gonna look at some ideas here for what I consider good.
Planning where your toilet is going to be is a good idea. This is not a good idea. Something like this is great because it's hidden inside a box, but of course you're gonna wanna have your door closed when you are doing number 2, unless you're out in the woods somewhere, and maybe just have like a privacy curtain. Then here is a place where they decided to make the bed a little bit higher and store their toilet underneath so they could slide it out. This is a good option, but remember, this takes up a lot of space. We also have an option here where it's a countertop and it's a toilet, and this takes a lot of maintenance. So I'm not sure if you're going to want to go with something like this, because where are you going to dump this? You're going to have to go to an RV park and dump this. Here's another option using the bucket system. I'm not sure what size bucket this would use, but this is obviously going to take space as well in your camper, but it's going to be light enough that you can easily pick this up and slide it around anywhere you want. This is a great option for you, whether it's a bucket or a porta potty like this, that you buy one of these tents. So when you are camping and you are on BLM, you don't have to use your van to go number 2. You can use this as a shower area, and also you can use this as a toilet. And I like this one because this is a foldable type of toilet where you can just set this up in a pinch with a baggie and it works. Here it is here, the way that it comes, foldable. This is another type of foldable type of toilet where you put a baggie underneath. This is the bucket system. It doesn't have to be 5 gallon. As you can see, you can put a pool noodle on it and it's going to be very comfortable. And these are little buckets that you can use. You don't need a huge bucket as long as you can crouch or put this on somewhere where you can sit on it and do your business, and you can put a pool noodle on it. It'll work. My favorite is the Bivvy lube because it folds into this little bag and it's portable. You put a bag inside and you can poop in there. It's got a soft cushion already on the top. You can buy this on Amazon. Then here is a setup where they made a shower and a toilet bathroom in the back of the van. It's high enough for something like that. And here's another wet bath type situation. And of course, this is another situation where you have, it's like a seat and you lift up and you have a toilet and a sitting area shower. I think this is a great idea. I like that it's hidden away. Another area that I thought was great is you could have your toilet down here, and this could be like your doghouse where you keep a lot of storage, and you can always come down here and crouch and sit on your bucket.
Now that we talked about the shower and the toilet, we'll get to the bed in a second. We're going to talk about the fridge, because I've seen some of these Pinterest where they have these campus college type little refrigerators, which are fine, because I've seen some of the girls who have bought already made campers that have those kind of fridges in there. Those are fine because they work on propane. But if you want to run it on solar for the best efficiency, you are going to want a top loading fridge like the one that I have. I have my solar hooked up to my refrigerator, but I can only run it between the hours of 10 and 2 if the sun is way up and I have a lot of power and I'm driving my rig. Yes, I can run that fridge. But I gave up because there was a lot of maintenance, a lot of work. Cloudy days when I had to turn the propane on because there wasn't enough solar, I forget to turn off the propane. And I didn't like driving with the propane because I have pets and I have a cat inside in the camper, and I don't want propane in there when I'm driving on. So this is why I have this kind of refrigerator, and I've had to adapt to learning to have the smaller size refrigerator, but it's working really well for me now. But I know that in the future, if I had a van, this on solar, this would be the kind of fridge I would have to have. So you have to consider the space you're going to install something like this, because it's top loading where the door actually goes up. So it's not like you can just hide it in a cabinet and the door opens this way. No, it's top loading. Those are the most efficient. So you have to consider what you're going to do. And I'm going to give you some ideas in this video for that.
This is a great idea because it's right by the door, so you can load your groceries really quickly here. Remember that these fridges also need ventilation, so you have to adapt the cabinetry that you're building it under to have ventilation. This is a great way because this space here is perfect for sliding it out. And this one you can see is pretty big. It's probably got a fridge and a freezer built right in, and it's top loading. And when you're done with it, you just slide it back under the cabinet. And that cabinet could be a countertop, or it could be some type of a bench system, which is perfect for the space. I know this is a toilet here, but I just wanted to show you what it would be if you had the fridge with this type of a top folding door system, where you could also put a pillow on top and make it into a bench. Not necessarily a toilet, but you would have the fridge and something like this. Remember, you also have to ventilate the fridge, so there has to be holes for ventilation in something like this. And here's another situation with a toilet, but you could also apply to a refrigerator as well. Under a countertop like this, where you can lift up the countertop to access the top loading refrigerator instead of having a toilet here. Obviously, I don't think a toilet should be in a kitchen anyway, so I think this is a really bad idea. And then here we have the refrigerator, kind of like the ones I said. They're the college type, and this one they built it into a higher bed, which is a great idea if you have the solar panels and the batteries for something like this. And they might just have a good battery system under this bed area where they can access it from the back. So if you have enough batteries, sure, you can do something like that, and you'd really be comfortable. You don't have to slide anything out or top load. So if you have just roof for panels, go ahead and do something like that. This is probably another situation like that where they also have this hooked up to solar, and they probably have some good batteries and some good panels. This idea I liked a lot because what they did here is they separated the front passenger and driver's seat from the back area. They have a wall here which makes a lot of use of the space. And they have one of those college refrigerators, but I wanted you to see the middle here, the opening, which I thought was wonderful because it's an extension of the kitchen, which I think is wonderful. But underneath, if you see, they put some kind of a toaster oven, which I think is ridiculous and shouldn't be there. But if you had a top loading refrigerator here, it would definitely work here, where you can build some type of a step that opens up or slides out, or you can step on the refrigerator. Many of these you can step, like mine. I step on mine. So instead of having this other refrigerator, this could be a cabinet of storage, and your top loading refrigerator could be here in the middle. So when you were coming in from the back to the front seat, you could just step on that refrigerator. I think this is a great idea as well to maximize your space in the van.
Now, when you made the decision to get the box fridge, remember now you have to decide what size box fridge, and do you want a freezer combo or do you just want the refrigerator? Mine comes with the option to make it freezable or make it a fridge. When I travel, I usually make it just a refrigerator. All right, so now we're gonna talk about the bed, because it seems like all of these videos, you have to see some beautiful bed with the opening in the back, and there's always a beautiful girl with her butt out. Right now, that seems to be the style of van builders now, women with their butts facing the camera. So listen, it's all good until you go out there and realize that ain't real life. That's just trying to bring you in, change your mind, make you happy, and think this is life. It's not, because I'll be honest with you, there's going to be bugs there. She's not going to have her butt out like that if there's bugs there. But anyway, moving on, to want to consider whether you want your bed to be sideways or you want it to be lengthwise. I have had several people tell me that they prefer it sideways to take up that space. Well, they're not taller than that space, so they could do that. I had one woman who started with lengthwise, and then she ended up dismantling it and putting it with the sideways, the bed side, taking up from side to side, because it just didn't work for her that way. So consider that. Consider the size of the bed. If you're one person, do you really need a queen size bed and they're taking up so much space? When you're thinking about the bed, you want to know what height you're comfortable with in the bed. If you have a high van, you can go pretty high, kind of like a loft, like I have in my bed. So you're gonna have to go up and down. You're gonna have to consider what you're gonna step on to get down. All of those things are things you're gonna think about, because the higher you go, the more storage you have underneath that you can build on, or the lower, then if you have somebody visiting or you need a cot to put some kind of a bunk bed above you, maybe not permanently, but for kids that visit you, then you have to make your bed lower. So consider that when you're building, because that's important too. It's going to affect your storage in a big way, because the bed space is huge, but it's limited to how the height that you build it at. All right, so for me, I'm going to show you here now some Pinterest of the things that I liked and I would consider for a van build if I was doing a van build. So here are some of my highlights for a van build personally.
So here is my preferred setup. I would probably tweak it a little bit, not exactly, but kind of the idea of where I'm going with this. I would probably end up with a full-size bed and not a queen, or maybe a twin if I didn't have a large dog in the future. Here, I love the storage in the back. I love that there's a fan over the bed area. And I love that this storage area actually has a pull-out so that you can reach things way in the back. There's another access from the inside also to the storage. And I love that they used the side build also for storage. And this one, I love the whiteness of it. I love the shiplap wood. I just think it looks beautiful. I like the little window over by the bed area. I would probably want another one on the other side of the bed, although I'd probably keep it covered with pillows, but it'd give me access at night to be able to look out. I also love the storage area here. It's great for a refrigerator to keep underneath, like I showed you before. And here, these are the colors that I love. I love the lights and bright window space. I love that there's curtains for privacy, but these are the colors that I love, which is the darker type woods for the countertop and the dark, bold hardware of the cabinets.
So for me right now in my life, I realized that if I was buying a van in the future and I had a larger dog that I was traveling with, I would bring my dog with me when I was purchasing this van, because I need to see the dog inside the van with me and to feel comfortable that I can walk around inside this van with this dog, and if this dog is going to lay there, if it's going to affect my space a lot. So that's important. For me personally, I'm more of the kind of person that likes the larger type B vans. I like the B plus vans. They're almost like a class C. They're about 22 feet, 22, 24 feet, not any bigger than that. Mostly at 22, but they're more like a van. And I like that because they already come with a generator built in. They already come with RV specific type connections like sewer and hookup and all of that. Now, I don't use the sewer and all that, but I do like the fact that I can go to a campground if I need to. And I have all of these amenities already there that I can use whenever I can on the road. That's the only thing that I really like about buying something that is already prepared for me. So for me, building, I really doubt that's going to be me. For my future, I really think it's going to be more in the way of buying something that is lower. It might have a slide out where I don't have to use the slide out if I don't want to, but it has to be a slide out where I can get to my things without having to slide it out. That's what's important for me. So it's going to take me some time to find something like that, but I do have one that I saw when I was in Arizona. I never posted that video. So coming up in one of my videos, I'm going to post to you my most favorite model that I've seen of a class B plus. So that'll be for another video. So stay tuned for that. I thank you so much for watching this video this week. If you like this video, please share it. If you know somebody who's planning on building a van or is considering to downsize and they're not sure what they're going to do, this is a great video for you to share with them. So I would appreciate that you shared it with them. Also give it a thumbs up if you thought the information was helpful. Subscribe to the channel. I have videos on RV, on travel, on homesteading. Those things are coming up. Being self-sustainable as a single woman, I'm maintaining all of this by myself. And of course, my love of God. I do Bible studies every week. Right now we are all in the New Testament videos, and I am transferring over my Genesis and Deuteronomy videos over from my backup channel. I'm transferring them over to this channel now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week. God bless all of you, and bye-bye.